right, welcome back, everyone, to Lakers Latest. I hope you have had a good Wednesday. Can't believe it's Wednesday already. It was just Monday, Labor Day. I'm losing track of days, guys. Yeah, hope everyone had a good one. Hope everyone had a good Wednesday. We are back in that middle thick of the week. I'll die on this hill. Wednesday's the worst day of the week, worse than Monday. You're just stuck in that middle ground where nothing's going on. You're 2 days into the week, but you still have 2 days to go in the week. Sucks. Wednesdays suck. I'll die on that hill. Worse than Mondays. Fight me about it. But yeah, hope everyone has had a good week so far. Coming to you as always from beautiful Studio City, California, where it is a scalding hot 92. Is about 97 today. We're at the point where I know it's so hot that I have to put my dog's socks on so she doesn't burn her feet. That's how hot we are at this point in the summer. So that's always the gauge for me to test how hot it is. Do I have to put my dog's socks on or not when I take her for a walk? So fun stuff. Anyway, let's get started with the potential bombshell report. We'll see, everything that follows. Obviously, this is a Lakers podcast, but sometimes news happens in the NBA where I just can't ignore it, especially when it comes to a player who the Lakers wanted very badly years ago when he was free agent, and that player is Kawhi Leonard. So just briefly go in, excuse me, to the report here. So basically, Pablo Torre, who I don't know if he still works for ESPN. He used to be a reporter. Now he calls himself an investigative reporter. Basically, did a ton of digging into the acquisition of Kawhi, how he got there and everything. And he basically, came up to the conclusion with all the factual evidence and everything he has that the Sixers essentially had Kawhi sign a deal with a company called Aspiration, where it was a no-show deal where he would just sign, get paid, I believe it was $28 million to just be a part of it, but he didn't actually do anything. For what it's worth, the Clippers have denied any involvement in this. Actually, about 2 minutes ago, they released a statement. I'll just briefly say a few things from there. Neither Clippers nor Steve Ballmer circumvented the salary cap after long campaign of market manipulation. There's nothing unusual or untoward about the team sponsors doing endorsement deals with players on the same team. So they have come out and vehemently denied it. But basically, the insinuation is that they use this money to pay Kawhi so they could pay less, circumvent the salary cap, and not have to pay a certain amount to him. And we'll see if this is something that actually has validity to it, or whether this is something Pablo Torre, maybe just looked a little bit too much into, and he saw some things, but it wasn't 100% conclusive. Regardless, though, this is a pretty big piece of news. I mean, especially, it's September 3rd, we're a couple weeks away from training camp starting. We're now officially a month away from preseason starting, and we've kind of just been waiting in that offseason lack of news. We're just grasping at anything we have, so there's not any major pieces of news going on. So this Kawhi thing is pretty enormous, especially what it's insinuating about the Clippers potentially trying to circumvent the salary cap, which, I mean, I can understand where they're coming from, but it's just hard for me to believe. And again, it's interesting now to look at this, be yeah, maybe it was a good idea not to sign Kawhi in the first place, which, real quick, what was it, 3-4 years ago? Thought there was a really good chance Kawhi could be a Laker. He obviously goes to the Clippers. Now it's was there a reason for that? You know what I mean? But, obviously looking back in hindsight, maybe it's a good thing they didn't get Kawhi now. As great as Kawhi is, the guy never stays healthy. Maybe we know why he's a little quiet now. I'm just saying. Maybe we know why he doesn't talk too much, because he's doing these freaky deals on the side. So, yeah, it's interesting to see that now. Obviously, the Lakers are going after him. I don't know if it's something that would happen with them, too. And again, the NBA is going to do a complete investigation into this. I'm sure they'll put a large amount of resources towards finding the validity to this. Is it real? Again, obviously, the Clippers have denied it. But it's just a very interesting thing to pop up kind of out of nowhere. It seemed like Pablo Torre has been doing this for a while, been discussing this for a while, looking into it for a while. But yeah, it's it's nice to be the LA team that everyone isn't talking about for the wrong reasons. So yeah, but still, just kind of a crazy, wild report out of the blue. regarding Kawhi and the Clippers really attempting to circumvent the salary cap. So we will see in the coming weeks as the investigation ensues if there is any validity to this or if this was just, Pablo looking to a couple tiny things that maybe were coinciding with the other, but not from an intentional perspective. All right, next on the docket. So I saw a report. No, it wasn't a report. It was, one of the Lakers side saying the Lakers should be interested in Dejounte Murray. Went in to talk about, obviously, he's a really good defensive player. He'd be a really good addition. They put together a couple deals that would involve Austin Reeves for Dejounte Murray. And it was like Murray for, I think, Vanderbilt, Reeves, and Connect. Or Rui, Connect, and Vanderbilt. Point is, you would still have to add a couple first round picks, but I don't know, I'm personally out on Dejounte Murray. Not saying he's a bad player. Yes, he's a very good defensive player, but he's small, tweener, inefficient guards just aren't my thing. If you look at every team that's won, every team has a two-way wing. You want a two-way wing. You have an elite player. You have an elite scorer. But tweener guards like Dejounte Murray that are 6'3", 6'4", he's not 100% shooting guard. He's kind of a point guard. He's a very good player. He's averaged over 22, 7, but it's the inefficiency. He's not efficient in how he gets there. Yeah, he's had some great games, but when you look at this Lakers team, is an inefficient, very good defensive guard, but an inefficient scoring point guard, really what's going to put them over the top? No shot. Just not, I wouldn't even trade Austin Reeves for Dejounte Murray. That's two case. Number one, Dejounte Murray's contract is ridiculous. It's not going to be worth what you're paying him. Number two, I just like Austin Reeves. I would rather get a better player in return or build something around Austin Reeves to get a better player in return than Dejounte Murray. Now, if you're going to give up Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleber on 2 firsts, then you're basically just giving up 2 firsts. Maybe that's something to look into. But me personally, I don't see how a guy like Dejounte Murray puts you over the top. He's a good player, but he's also an inefficient scoring guard. This Lakers team, to me, if you're going to get someone that's going to take you next level, it needs to be a guy like Lauri Markkanen, that elite stretch four who can score in a multitude of different ways. It could be a guy like Andrew Wiggins, two-way player, not obviously an elite scorer anymore, but still a very solid player, solid scorer, solid two-way wing. To me, if the Lakers are going to get where they need to go, that two-way wing is or super talented scorer like Markkanen and stretch four is kind of the prototype you're looking for. So Markkanen, Wiggins, Trey Murphy, Drew Holiday is obviously he's a two-way guard, probably less on the totem pole of guys I'd be interested. Aaron Nesmith, these guys that we brought up before, those are the guys that you will be mainly interested in. You need two-way wings to me to take you over the top. I don't think an inefficient scoring guard is to do it. I think you'd be better off saving those resources that you would trade for Dejounte Murray, allocating them elsewhere, potentially saving them for a bigger trade with a bigger and better player that would fit your team much better than a guy like Dejounte Murray. So, yeah, to me, I'm out. He's a good player, not a bad player at all. He's a very solid player, but his contract and what it would take to get him, I just don't see that being something that would personally be a good fit for the Lakers, especially moving forward. He's not a guy that really, I think, fits very well with Luka, especially. So we'll see what happens. Next up on the docket, we got LeBron. So I think it was, I can't remember who. One NBA insider basically reported that, all these things about LeBron wanting to come out of LA are not entirely true. He was happy here. He is happy here. Obviously, he had a chance to decline his player option and pursue free agency if that's what he wanted to do. He chose not to do it. Now, I do think a part of that is the money. I think, LeBron is an incredibly intelligent individual. He's just accepted his player option for $52 million. I think he knows that, all the top teams are not going to have salary space. I think he knows that it would have to be a trade to do it, but he knew that pretty much he was not going to get that $52 million from anyone. So I think a main part of that, maybe he wanted to stay in Los Angeles. He wanted to see it through here. He wanted to have a full year with Luka, but also, what person in their right mind is going to say no to $52 million? And it is LeBron James, but is he really going to make that much? Is a contending team going to have that much to offer him? The answer is no. So yeah, I think that, and I've kind of gone into this. That's a little overblown. The whole trade, is he going to get bought out? It was never going to happen. Never going to happen. If LeBron leaves the Lakers, it will be next year in free agency to maybe go one more year to try and contend for a championship, or he retires. Like, who knows? But the idea of him ever openly leaving via trade, or via being bought out and signing with another team was always something that was incredibly low chances of happening. Just something that I never really saw a possibility of happening. So yeah, that's just interesting to see more tidbits on that. But yeah, LeBron's not going anywhere. I don't think he's getting traded. I think he's going to be here the full season. What happens after that, obviously, will be very open for interpretation. We'll see what LeBron wants to do, but he's not going anywhere. And yeah, I would probably agree with that. I don't think there was ever a realistic scenario of him going anywhere at any time. So last thing, this is kind of funny. It's Shaq was kind of just talking back on his initial not trade request, just like when he was watching TV and Mitch Kupchak was being interviewed. And he said like they were open to trade offers for Shaq. They were open to listening. And it's funny. Shaq was like, "Oh, okay, that's how it's gonna be." And like he then wants to go to the Lakers facility, and they actually like denied him entrance. Like they didn't let him in, and he was like, "I was just gonna beat Mitch Kupchak so badly, like they didn't want to let me in." And I get it, man. I would not want to be anywhere near Shaquille O'Neal when he was angry. Like that's a big boy. You do not want to mess with him. But it's just funny looking at the historical context of that now. Obviously, he's not going to complain now. He got traded to Miami. He won a championship in Miami too. But it's always fun looking at the revisionist history of all this stuff, seeing these guys talk about what it was like from their angle and their perspective when it happened. And then now 20 plus years later, obviously it worked out for all parties. Lakers, won two championships within the next 5 to 7 years. So yeah, just funny though. Love hearing stories like that from Shaq. But yeah, that's all I got for you today, guys. Hope everyone has a good one. Hope everyone has a good Thursday tomorrow. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.